guys, it's Michelle and I'm in New York City, which is why the lighting is kind of just messed up. I honestly so sorry. There's really nothing that I can do. The shadows, I'm using like natural light. Obviously I couldn't bring a freaking ring light with me, and also sorry if you hear, you know, some... Is that tree gonna fall in the window? Oh my god, there's like a tree and it literally looks like it's gonna crash into my window. So obviously there's a lot of noises. I'm in Manhattan, so there you might hear some honking or some sirens, as I do every time I try to go to sleep. But some of my videos for this week are pre-filmed, and then some of them, well, this one only for this week is going to be filmed here. The rest of this week is pre-filmed, and then one next week is pre-filmed, and then the rest I'm going to film here. So sorry about the lighting. Honestly, I can't do anything about it. I got my natural light, got my lamps, like I did what I could. So today's video is going to be all about the legend, the icon, Selena Quintanilla. Selena was super famous in the 80s and 90s, and you guys have probably heard about her because I feel like she's had more of a recent like reoccurring fame with like the millennials. Like a lot of people really like Selena now, which is super cool. I think it's really awesome when like legends like, you know, come back around even if they're not still here like living. I think it's cool like in like 50 years from now if like the kids start like listening to Amy Winehouse, like I think that's cool. Or like Michael Jackson. It's just, you know, it's just cool. I like it. So many of you guys asked me to talk about Selena's death and what happened exactly. Neighbors are loud. So that's what today's video is going to be about. It is obviously a very sad topic. And honestly, it's kind of shocking because I knew about this death a really long time ago. But I guess I didn't understand what actually happened, because what actually happened is so much different than what I thought happened. I thought it would be interesting to talk about because I feel like a lot of people don't know the actual story and like what exactly went down that day. But let's just get into it. Selena Quintanilla Perez was born on April 16th, 1971 in Lake Jackson, Texas. Selena grew up to become one of the most iconic singers of the late 20th century. And because she was Mexican American, she was a super important icon to the Latino community. Like she was huge because they didn't really have much representation in American media. So Selena was such a big icon for them as well, and a huge role model for young Latina girls, which I think is super cool in general, because I think it's cool to have a role model who's someone who looks like you in a sense. Like they are like, you know, they are also Latina, so like I just think it's cool, you know what I mean? So obviously it was super tragic what ended up happening. Selena was completely thriving throughout the 80s and 90s, and like I said, she was a legend. Like she was super iconic on everything. She was kind of like really starting her career. Like she had already gained a ton of success, but it seemed as though like she was making this kind of Latin music like more popularized in America. Like it was more of like a combination, and it was like really cool music, and now it was becoming more familiarized not with just the Latina community, but also with just the entire world. She was becoming a sensation, and sadly her life got cut very short on March 31st, 1995, at the age of only 23 years old. Selena Quintanilla was murdered. So like I said, for this video we're going to be talking about exactly how she was killed, who killed her, and everything in between. It's not necessarily conspiracy theories about it, because I mean it happened and everyone knows who did it, but there is some just interesting parts about it, and I thought I would just share the story. Obviously it's a very tragic one. I think it's important to talk about because these things can happen, and that is terrifying. The woman who murdered Selena Quintanilla was Yolanda Saldivar. Yolanda Saldivar was the president of Selena's fan club since 1991, when Selena's father and her manager Abraham Quintanilla Jr. appointed her for this position because she asked so many times to start a fan club for Selena, so she ended up becoming the president, which is I think really creepy in itself. From what I remember, obviously I wasn't born in 1995, but from what I remember, what my parents telling me and like just like hearing like bits and pieces about it, I just remember that Selena was killed by a fan, and it was like in a hotel, but I didn't really know that it was this deep rooted, in the sense of Selena and Yolanda became very close friends after she was like appointed the like president of this club. They grew very close throughout the years. Yolanda even reports that Selena used to call her mom or mama, like just as like kind of like a pet name, I guess. Selena's family says that that's not true, or that they're not really sure if it's true, I guess. I guess they never really saw it happen, so they don't know. Either way, the family does confirm that they were very close, even to the point that in January of 1994, Yolanda Saldivar became the manager of Selena's boutiques. She was creating boutiques to sell clothes because not only was she like a singing icon, she was also a huge fashion icon, and she dressed really cute and really different and kind of like steered style towards like where it was heading to in the late 20th century. So I think that's super cool as well about Selena, is that she was like such a huge style icon. But regardless, she was starting a boutique, and Yolanda was the person who was overlooking it because she had become the manager. Things started to get pretty bad in 1995 when Selena's father, Abraham Quintanilla Jr., was receiving many phone calls and letters from super angry fans that had claimed that they gave money to the fan club but never received any like information or anything in return that they were supposed to receive from signing up to this fan club. Abraham did confront Yolanda Saldivar about this. However, it was like kind of like, oh, like that's never, like, I don't know, she was kind of like denying it, I guess, in a sense. Even though Selena's father discovered and put the pieces together that Yolanda Saldivar had embezzled over $60,000 from not only the fan club members but also from the boutiques with the use of forged checks. So this woman was stealing so much money from Selena, from her fans, just in general. Like, it was absolutely crazy. So of course the family confronted Yolanda about this, and she denied it. She like went away for some time and then came back and bought a gun. So it's not proven 100% because obviously it's just not proven 100%. It is widely speculated, and probably the most probable reason that Yolanda would want to kill Selena is because that the family found out how much money she was stealing from them. It is believed that because they found out about this, she did decide to buy a gun in order to kill Selena. Obviously no one knew that she bought a gun until March 31st, 1995. Yolanda Saldivar led Selena into coming into a Days Inn motel room in Corpus Christi, Texas, and she told her to come by herself. Even if I like thought my friend had embezzled like so much money from me, like if I was like in Selena's position, I would never think that this person would be dangerous in that sort of way, like would kill me. Like, that's a little extreme, and I know that this is like a stereotype, but it's also kind of true that most people that kill people are men. Like, it's just, you wouldn't expect a woman to like kill you. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, it definitely does, but I'm just saying, like, if someone's your friend, I feel like you wouldn't be scared of them, even if they were, like, regardless of gender. But like still, like, I feel like that is also like a factor that should play in, because I didn't even know that it was a woman who killed her. I mean, not that it matters, it's someone killed her, and it's terrible either way. But regardless, obviously Selena felt safe in the situation, otherwise she probably wouldn't have gone. But that was never really up for discussion. It seemed like she was perfectly safe with this woman. It's speculated that Selena was going to fire her because she obviously was not doing anything right. She embezzled $60,000. What we know what happened is that Yolanda shot Selena in the back for unknown reasons, though we'll get into that in a second. And Selena ran from the hotel room to the lobby where she collapsed on the floor. She was obviously rushed to the hospital and they tried to revive her. But sadly, of course, they couldn't. She actually bled to death, and it's so sad and just heartbreaking. And it was very, very sad for the entire Latina community as well, because there were so many young girls who looked up to this woman. So very quickly Yolanda became one of the most hated people in the world. So Yolanda Saldivar has a different story as to what like the media thinks and what everyone thinks is what happened. Essentially everyone just thinks that she got super mad that Selena was about to fire her and that's why she shot her. But Yolanda has a completely different story and pleads that it was actually an accident. A lot of the people think that this was a cold-blooded murder. This is what I think it was 100%. Yolanda claims that she went to the hotel room with the intent of telling Selena that she was going to quit working for her. Yolanda claims that she put the gun up to her own head and said that, Selena, if you don't get out, I'm going to kill myself like in front of you, blah blah blah.
I grabbed the gun, put it to my head. I pulled the thing back. And I said, if you don't leave, I'm gonna do it, Selena.
According to Yolanda Saldivar, Selena then went to go close the hotel room door, and Yolanda basically was like, no, don't close the door, and like accidentally pointed the gun at Selena and then also accidentally fired it at Selena.
She says, Mom, we need to talk about this. We need to talk about this. I'm going to close the door. And when she was walking to the door, I told her, don't close the door. And in that instant, the gun went off.
But why didn't it hit you?
Because I was pointing to the door, and it just went.
Yeah, it's like a very bad, like, not even like, I don't even know how that would happen. A lot of people think she came up with the story in order to get a lighter sentencing, which is probably the truth. However, it didn't work. No one believed her, because if she was so close to killing herself, then it wouldn't make sense, because when the police arrived, she hid in her car for like hours, and she like was like threatening them, like the policemen, with the gun, and they were like, well, why wouldn't you just kill yourself when you were like in that situation? And she said this.
Didn't you commit suicide when you were in the car all those 9.5 hours?
I could hear her in my mind telling me, you don't commit suicide, because I'll never see you in heaven.
This lady is absolutely insane. I definitely think that she did it because she was afraid of getting fired, and of course she obviously started out as a huge fan of Selena, and it was kind of maybe an obsessive way, and it was really just weird. Everything about this whole situation is super strange. I definitely don't believe her story at all, though I do think it is interesting that she still claims to be innocent to this day. Even though she was sentenced to life in prison, she still is claiming that her story is true. I mean, I don't think it is, because why would Selena like run away from her if she knew that she didn't mean to shoot her, if she wasn't scared that she was gonna kill her? Like, why would she run from the hotel room to the lobby? Like, it was clear that at that point Selena was definitely scared. At the moment, Yolanda Saldivar remains in prison. She is at the Mountain View unit at Gatesville, Texas. Well, this is a women's correctional facility, prison, whatever you want to call it, and she's actually kept completely separate from any of the other inmates, that people believe that she would be killed by these other women because they want revenge for her senselessly killing Selena. It's so heartbreaking because she was only 23 years old in 1995. She could have had such a huge career since then. Make sure you guys give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Let me know in the comments if you heard about this story, if you knew what exactly happened, or if this is your first time hearing it. Let me know. Make sure you follow me on Twitter, Snapchat, and Instagram, because I'm always posting really dope ass shit on there, especially right now because I'm in New York City, so I'm always posting shit about the city, and Elle's coming to visit me. So if you guys want to see us hanging out, then follow me on there. Subscribe for new videos every single day, and I will see you all tomorrow. Bye!